What is up, everybody in the XRP community, everybody in the digital asset space as a whole? If you see any scam ads on this video, please do not participate in those. I wanted to touch base today on scams. I wanted to touch base today on market sentiment. I wanted to touch base today on my personal strategy, which is not investment advice to you whatsoever. I wanted to talk about the benefits of holding for the long term, okay? All right, I'm going to get into this real quick here. This is benefits of holding stocks for the long term. And this doesn't deal directly with crypto, but there are some parallels here which can teach us some things, okay? And there are over 6,000 cryptocurrencies. How many of those do you think are legitimate? Have you researched the cryptocurrencies and the digital assets that you're personally investing in? Because I can almost guarantee you have not. Benefits of holding stocks for the long term. I'm not going to go overly deep into this, but it's common sense, and you can look at the chart and see what exactly what those benefits would be if you chose multiple of the correct stock assets to invest in. Many market experts recommend holding stocks for the long term. The S&P's 500 index has experienced losses in only 10 of the 45 years from 1975 to 2019. Making stock market returns quite volatile in shorter time frames. However, investors have historically experienced a much higher rate of success over the long term. This, key takeaways from this is what you really have to pay attention to. The main reason to buy and hold stocks over the long term, and you can equate this the same way with good digital assets, with a good foundation, good backing, and good capital to back the project up. The main reason to buy and hold stocks over the long term is that long-term investments almost always outperform the market when investors try and time their investments. Emotional trading tends to hamper investor returns. Over a 20-year time period, the S&P 500, this is stocks for example, has always posted a positive return no matter when you would have invested. Riding out temporary market downswings is considered a sign of a good investor. I wanted to put up Bitcoin's historic price, all-time highs and all-time lows as an example. And if you tell me that this market is not completely manipulated at this point, I believe that's a complete lie. I know it's manipulated. We all know it's manipulated. We all know all markets are manipulated as well. But bear market days of recovery, Bitcoin high price, we've got $7 back in 2012. All the way to $19,666 in 2018. And the low price prior to that was $5,880. Okay? This market is a friggin' sham, people. And it's going to continue to be a sham until the powers that be are ready to release the utility upon their institutions, which they're starting to obviously do through proof of concepts, etc. We know what they're building, and throughout the masses as well. We saw over the past day, founder of SushiSwap, decentralized finance protocol, cashes out. Chef Nomi swapped all his sushi holdings for Ethereum, claiming it was quote unquote not an exit scam. Dude is comparing himself to Litecoin creator Charlie Lee. If you have been around here long enough, Charlie Lee posted shit on Twitter telling people to buy Litecoin at all-time high. It's going to the friggin' moon. And then 6 months later, posted when he started selling Litecoin. He was selling Litecoin when he was posting to his massive, massive audience to keep buying because it was going to the moon. There are scams all throughout this space, people. I don't hold any Litecoin. I don't hold any Bitcoin. I'm not saying those things aren't going to go up. I'm not saying they have no utility, but I'm saying there are very bad actors in this space. If you don't believe this Chef Nomi dude was exit scamming, I don't know what to tell you. The dude swapped out all of his holdings, or most of his holdings, for $10 million worth of Ethereum. Not an exit scam, my ass. SushiSwap today is up 73.90%. 73.90% after the founder exit scams the community. And you sit here and you look at XRP prices, the XRP price, stuff like a hash graph, even you could even bring up Ethereum, even though it's proof of work. It has so many partnerships, and I understand the gas fees are a huge issue, but XRP, has been sitting, has been doing nothing. Do you believe that the foundations behind XRP's utility have changed whatsoever? The transparency of Ripple has not changed whatsoever. And a dude that exit scam, from what is this coin rank even? What is it? $209 million market cap. So 61st in the market. Dude exit scams and the friggin' price is up 73.90%. This just goes to show you people, okay? We all know what's coming. 10% of global GDP, and I believe it's more than that, will run or be stored on blockchains by 2025. I could give two shits less what happens with people with shitty projects exit scamming. I invest for the long term in this space. I invest into certain digital assets that I feel have utility, that I feel have transparency in their provision of information to us as the community of the holders of those digital assets, of corporations such as Ripple that are partnered with some of the largest financial institutions in the world that are trialing things like RippleNet, that are trialing things like the utility of XRP. I don't care about XRP's price right now. I could care less because I don't plan on selling within 1 year anyways. I'm not trying to hit capital gains taxes. I don't trade. I'm all for people that trade and do the research because, there are people that are successful at that. I just would never do it. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I invest into things that I want to hold long term. I invest into projects. I invest into these institutions' relationships with the legacy giants in this space. And, if you invest otherwise, fantastic. But if you are investing in this space based on emotion and not research or fact, or based on what somebody told you, especially when it's a main portion of your portfolio, you are doing this wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You need to step back. You need to understand what corresponding financial institutions, what corresponding banking institutions, what relationships they are developing in this space, who they are developing upon, what are they trying to accomplish, what is the goal, what is the end goal, how are they going to maintain their amount of capital and maintain a business model while also adopting what is obviously coming, which is digitization, which is the utilization of blockchain and digital assets across the board. If you are not doing those things, you are going to lose in the long term. If you win in the short term, fantastic. Cash out, take your win, do whatever you want to do. But if you are doing that just from a purely speculative nature, and if you're doing it based on word of mouth or AKA the grapevine effect, this is the best thing since sliced bread, even though, people don't take into account how long it takes up for something like XRP's use case to build up the liquidity, to build up the rails, to build the network effect out. It takes a very, very long time. And for what we've seen from Ripple, how can you not be impressed about what they've done? Building out these legacy rails, making them work in parallel with the distributed ledger technology rails. We know Ripple is an integrator of Swift. Why would they be integrating Swift with their clients? We look at Swift's clients. A lot of Swift's clients are also Ripple clients. Why do you think that is? Step back and realize, why do you think that would possibly be? Why are there platforms building Swift capabilities in tandem with Ripple capabilities? A lot of those platforms have, I'm sure, trialed through proof of concepts XRP, the digital asset, as well. Look at something like Hedera Hashgraph. Look at the owners of that network: Google, Avery Dennison, Boeing. I mean, it's across the board here. It doesn't take a whole lot of brains. If you're planning on buying and holding long term, it is not hard, because you don't care about these price swings, these 10, these 20%, these 30% price swings, because we know the market is manipulated. It doesn't matter that it's manipulated. At some point, they've got to let the bull out of the gates, right? Who knows when that is? And I don't care when that is. I look at everything that's going on in this market over the past 2.5 years, 3 years, as a complete opportunity for me to research, make moves on my own, make decisions that are going to better me and my family, and hopefully make some good investment choices. Even if I make one shitty one, I'm sure through research, looking at these relationships that are going on across the board, that I'm bound to make a couple of good ones that may change my life forever. And I hope to God that you guys are doing the same thing, because something like SushiSwap, decentralized finance, I'm not saying this isn't a good project. Who knows? But the founder exit scammed. Clearly, obviously exit scammed. Charlie Lee exit scammed Litecoin. He did. I don't care if Litecoin's a good project. I don't care if you believe in it. Whatever. It's proof of work. Believe in it or not, he exit scammed, and he was telling people it was going to the moon while he was in the process of shoving his exit scam down your throat. Okay? Global GDP in 2019 was about $142 trillion. Do a little bit of an adder onto that, maybe add, 5% a year, 3% a year. What are you looking at by 2025? And I believe, I don't care if it's 2025, but I believe at some point, 10% of GDP will run on blockchain, and it's probably sooner rather than later. $14.2 trillion becomes $142 trillion becomes $16 trillion. If you do the adder, very fast, that's 10%. And if $16 trillion is running on blockchain, when right now we've got a market cap of $250 billion, $300 billion, I don't even look at it because I don't even care. You know where this space is going, people. If you're talking about quantum financial system happening overnight, everybody's going to be rich. That's a dangerous friggin' thing to tell to people that are investing more than they are willing to lose, because many people in this space are investing way more than they are willing to lose. I've gone to the point now where I don't care, because if I lose it, I don't care, because I don't change my lifestyle for it. When I have a little bit of extra money, I put it into crypto. But I put it into crypto that I've researched and that I've thought out through relationships that I see and through utility that I perceive to be valuable across the board. Through proof of concepts, things that are actually, these institutions are actually trialing, not just my perceived proof of concept or my perceived utility across the board. That's nonsense. Look at what these institutions are doing. Plan for the long term. If you want to trade. It's not hard to be successful in this market. It's going to go up. And when it goes up and when they release it, it's going to go up hard. It's going to go up fast. Don't miss the boat and don't get involved in stupid shit that you can easily avoid by doing a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of research and by using a little bit of common sense to realize that not everybody out there that's telling you this information is telling it for your well-being. They are telling it to you for their well-being. That's it. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic, fantastic rest of your holiday weekend if you're in the States. All right? Have a good one. I will continue to research. Sorry this was a little bit angry, but, we see where the market's going. Be a realist about this. Nothing goes straight up. Nothing goes straight down. The best times to buy, when there's fear in the streets, when there's blood in the streets, that's a buying opportunity, right? That is not financial advice, but I've been around long enough to know that that's probably the case most of the time. So hope you guys all enjoyed this. Have a good evening, and I will talk to you later.